Hi, everybody. Welcome to my IG Live today. We are talking all about conquering eczema. I'm going to go into a little bit about my story with conquering eczema. We are also going to talk to one of my patients, Yahira. She is also going to be talking about her journey with conquering eczema. We're going to answer all of your questions today. And you guys, a lot of you submit questions and we are going to be answering those at the end today, okay? So I'm so excited to have Yahira join us. Yahira is someone I have been treating for a little bit less than a year. We started about last December, and her story is quite amazing. She really has really conquered eczema, has in the process of conquering eczema, and we are almost to the finish line with her. And I'm so excited to just have her join us and really get started. So while we are waiting for Yahira to join us, I want to talk a little bit about my journey with eczema and where I started. I was born with eczema, and right out of the get-go, I had eczema so bad that let me actually allow her in here first. Okay. I had eczema so bad that I lost all my hair when I was a little baby because I was scratching so much. And it took me through my whole childhood. And because I didn't fix the eczema, it turned into gut problems. I had really bad IBS. And then that turned into migraines and headaches. And then I was getting sick all the time. I remember when I was in college, I was just getting sick nonstop, week after week. I was always sick. My immune system was so weak. And it took me to the point where I really just wanted to heal myself. I was on my way to becoming a conventional doctor, a dermatologist. And unfortunately, I just didn't find a lot of answers there. A lot of the answers were put steroid cream on, use prednisone. And those really weren't answers that I wanted. And so ended up finding my way to naturopathic med school, and so thankful that I did, because learning about the root cause of what was causing my eczema was so key and so important. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And what I really needed to do was clean myself inside and out. And that was from an emotional level, a physical level. I mean, all of the above needed to be cleaned up. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. A big part of what I do with patients now and what I've done with Yahira is really clean her up. And that's from an emotional point of view. We hold on to a lot of emotional traumas. You know what? I'm actually seeing that I'm going to ask her to join me one more time. And hopefully she'll be able to join us.
Go.
Oh, there we go. Hi,
there we go.
all right. Yeah, so I'll finish what I was saying. So what I was saying is that from an emotional level, there are traumas we have to work through. From a physical level, there's so many toxins we have to work through. And it's, unfortunately, a lot of these toxins we don't even know about. So a lot of the questions that I've gotten from people in terms of, I asked you guys to submit questions, which we'll go over at the end. But a lot of people are saying, Dr. Fong, we're eating well, we're 100% organic, we're doing everything we thought we should be doing. And why does my baby still have eczema? Or why do I still have eczema? And that's because a lot of the times you guys don't know what toxins are actually wreaking havoc in your system. And no one's ever taught you how to clean that up. And so that's the process that we do together. That's the process I did. I am now completely 100% eczema free. I never get eczema anymore, not at all. And I never thought I would be able to say that for those of you guys who are on this call and you're like, thinking that's never going to be a possibility. And even Yahira at the beginning, I think now Yahira is hopefully feeling more and more close to the idea that, okay, I think I'm going to get there. I think I'm going to be eczema free like Dr. Fong. And even in our process together, Yahira, it's like at the beginning, I just remember every time you would talk about how your eczema and how bad and how excruciating, I would see it on your skin, and I would get so emotional because I know what that was like when I had it. And I would be up all night. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. I didn't even want to turn on the light in the bathroom because I didn't want to see
Yeah.
my skin. And what that does to you emotionally as well too, and how you have overcome it. So I would actually love to just kind of hear from you, and if you could just tell us your story, like tell us your story. I think you also, like me, started with eczema as a very young child too. Tell us about your story.
Yeah, so I actually started with eczema when I was 5. My mom found it around my arms, went to the doctors, prescribed, topical steroids, and then the rest is history. It just progressed from there, and it was topical steroids, oral steroids, immune suppressants, allergy tests, diets, you name it, I've done it. At the end, it just got to a point where topical steroids weren't working for me, so I had to get off of them. I went to a homeopathic doctor. She's the one that told me, hey, you know what, you should get off of these. And I went through TSW, which is topical steroid withdrawal, and I didn't know that's what it was. It was before Instagram. It was before there was a community that was going to tell me, hey, this is what you're going through. So I had no idea. I thought it was like the worst flare up of my life. Fast forward a few years, I moved to LA. My eczema got worse. I had to get on Dupixent. I gained a lot of weight. I was desperate, depressed. I was mentally not at a great place. And I was trying to find a doctor or someone that was going to guide me into finding what was going to work. I had an idea that I had leaky gut. I had an idea that overall my entire body wasn't working the way it was supposed to. I wasn't at its optimal capacity. I wasn't working how it was supposed to. And then I think it was on Instagram, I came across your post, said you had eczema. I went on your website, and then I just started doing my research, and then I found you, and here we are today.
All right, awesome. Well, yeah, it's been such an amazing journey. And we've actually documented the whole thing. So we will be releasing a kind of documentary about this probably early next year. And it's just so amazing to watch the progress. So, Yahira, if you could take us through kind of the beginning and the ups and downs that you needed to go through, some of the things we needed to work through with you, emotionally, physically, just all of the above, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, so that people can kind of see what the journey is like. It's not easy, and I don't think it wasn't easy for me. It hasn't. And when it comes to the point where conventional medicine has failed you so many times, and you're just being given, medication after medication after medication, you are abusing your body in a way where the toxins are just burdening your system over and over and over again. And it comes to the point where we have to clean it up. And that's not always an easy thing to do. So tell us about your journey, which started almost, I actually got a message, I think almost exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
Almost exactly a year. We actually started the conversations. And I think we actually started like late November to early December. So tell us how it's been.
Okay, so before I started with you, like I said, I was on Dupixent, so I was already a little hesitant on trying to find a new treatment. Getting on Dupixent was something I didn't want to do, but my mental health was at a point where if I didn't get on that, I don't know if I would even be here at this point. And mental health is something that I feel like we don't talk about with eczema because it does affect us, and you helped me a lot with that, as long as also with my emotional support. So when I met you, we went through head to toe everything. You did mineral testing, you checked my body, you tested my emotional, I forgot what the test was called, but you said that my anger and like resentment and pain was like more than 5 football fields.
Yeah, it's called emotional release therapy.
Yes.
And it's something I do.
I was very angry. I was angry that I had eczema. I was frustrated with the therapies, like you said, conventional medicine, and it's expensive. And I also didn't want to waste my time, waste my money trying something else that wasn't going to work. But I didn't have anything to lose at that point. I wasn't getting better. I was very depressed. So when I met you, I flew up, actually from the Bay Area. So I flew up, I stayed with my parents. I went to go see you. We did like a full physical, and come to find out I had leaky gut, adrenal fatigue, gluten. I can't have gluten. Avoided dairy, all sugars. So that was really hard. The diet when I first started with you was very strict. It was like carrots, peas, ground turkey, chicken, no seasonings, water, no coffee, no teas, very, very strict diet. But I stuck to it. It was very boring, very bland. I remember like in our meetings, I would tell you, Dr. Fong, like, I'm tired of the diet. I don't want to do it anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, got to stick through a few more months, push through. So that was one of the things that was very hard. It was the diet, but also the reoccurring flare-ups. So I was documenting the process, like Dr. Fong said, and in the beginning of the journey, you'll see that I went through really rough flare-ups, like from head to toe, and I was questioning the program just because I wasn't, you know, I was getting to a point where I wanted it to hurry up, and I didn't want to be in pain. I wasn't sleeping. I was very itchy. I was very inflamed. And the pictures that you guys saw for like the promo for the IG Live, you guys can see it was all around my eyes, all around my face, my neck and chest. So the reoccurring flare-ups were very hard for me to deal with, and they lasted a really long time. Um, Another thing that we did was testing for mold, anything like allergens that I had in the house. I had a humidifier, I have an air purifier, try to eat as clean as I could eat. One of the things that Dr. Fong wanted me to do was try to walk, meditate, work on my mental health, the diet. I keep saying the diet because the diet was the hardest part for me. A lot of supplements, like you guys can't, I was taking like 20 supplements at one time with Dr. Fong. So a lot of supplements. We were doing colonics, hydrotherapy. What else was there? Lymph therapy, massage, belt therapy. I was doing all kinds of therapies that I had never heard of. And Dr. Fong explained every single one, like, we're doing this to target this. We're doing this because of your liver. We're doing this because of your gallbladder. And it all makes sense. And like the more that I did, I started to see the benefits and how it was helping me.
Yeah. Yeah, you keep talking about the diet, and I know it's, people are listening like, oh my gosh, this is scary. So one of the things is that, you know, if we find there's a dysbiosis or an imbalance in your gut,
Mm-hmm.
we have to starve those bugs. And that's what we were doing in the beginning, is we were starving those bugs so that they couldn't grow and proliferate. And when someone has eczema, there's inherently an imbalance in your gut. And so that's what we were doing in the beginning. And we've eased up the diet nowadays,
Yeah.
right? It's eased up. So and so a lot of the beginning part is about being really strict, because you're coming to me in a place, and like I like to use the analogy of the funnel. It's like your funnel is so full, there's garbage filling up your detox funnel, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how you came to me. And we had to starve it out. You know, so it's kind of like a garbage. If you just leave it there forever and ever and ever, it's going to grow a bunch of stuff. It's going to start smelling. There's going to be bacteria
Yeah.
and mold and all this stuff. And that's kind of how people who have eczema all over, like you did, like I had, our garbage was so full at that point. And so we had to starve it out. And a lot of the therapies we did really were helping you to circulate that garbage and clean it out. So like you mentioned, lymphatic drainage therapy, that actually stimulates the lymph system. Colon hydrotherapy cleans the gut. Decades worth of junk you were holding on to in your gut. We did a liver gallbladder flush, which flushed out the system, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that is to clean up all that garbage. And now your garbage can is like 90% clean. So we're almost to the finish line here with her.
Yeah.
And like I love, the other day we had a visit, and when I first start with patients, I always have people rate their symptoms, right? 10 is the worst, 0 is nothing. And when you started with me, what was it? It was like 8s, 9s, and 10s.
Oh yeah, I was
Everybody,
doing
right?
8, 9s, 10s for everything.
Yeah,
Even for
and the
like
list is like long, right? It's like
yep.
not just the skin, but it's the gut and the mental, emotional, etc. And I again started getting so teary-eyed when we went through this the other day, like literally a couple days ago, and you're all 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And it's so awesome to see that. And you know, I think you scored your eczema now at like a 3 or a 4, something like that. And then I like almost all your symptoms are like 0s, except for some lingering things, which is what we're still working on. And we're like, we see the finish line now. And I think in the beginning, it felt like the finish line was not even possible, right? But one thing I have to say is you really stuck through it. You stuck to it. And I think it's because you were at your last, like, you're like, okay, I think this is the last thing I could potentially try. And I'm there, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. So there's very interesting, like some things that we found in the first visit are things that I find kind of like across the board for a lot of patients,
Mhm.
which is like bilirubin. I mentioned this in the podcast I just did. Bilirubin was high for you, and that
Mhm.
indicates that your gallbladder and your liver are super congested. So if you're on this call and you have your labs, go pull them up and see what your bilirubin levels are, because your bilirubin level could be above 1, but your doctor is kind of like, no, that's fine. Like
Yeah.
you're healthy, you're fine. Your labs don't tell me anything. And we looked at these labs and I was like, okay, your liver gallbladder is totally full. And that is almost every eczema patient has this problem. Okay. So tell us about where you are now. Tell us about, like, I know you just went to Disneyland, you didn't have a flare. I remember
Yeah.
that's so funny you mentioned Disneyland, because when I was a kid and I would go to Disneyland, it would be so hot that I would
Mhm.
sweat. And everyone who has eczema here knows when you sweat, your eczema just gets so much
Yeah.
worse. I mean, it's like unbearable, right? Like behind your neck here, it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you just want to scratch so much. So tell us about where you are at now.
Okay, now like Dr. Fong said, we're like close to the finish line. I still have like some lingering issues. I still have eczema. We just had our meeting and my immune system's still a little low. I have a cold sore here. So she was telling me, hey, your immune system's still low. We got to work on that. And I was freaking out because usually this would turn into eczema herpeticum for me. And this time it didn't. So that was a huge step for me. And before it would be, my whole face was covered in eczema herpeticum. So now I'm doing a lot better. My bowel movements are getting better. That was one thing that was a big issue for me. I wasn't going. I was never regular since I was a child. I have never, ever been regular in my life. So with the diet, it changed. I'm not bloated like I used to be. I always felt heavy and like my stomach always felt hard. And no matter what I ate, like my stomach was always bugging me. And now that's been a huge improvement. So now I'm having actual bowel movements. I'm not constantly itchy. My skin, the inflammation has gone down. So from beginning to where I was, just looking at the pictures, that was like a huge trigger for myself, just because I couldn't believe like I was at that point a year ago, and just to see myself today, even today when I was going on, I was like, should I put anything on my face? And all I have on my face is lip gloss, mascara, and that's it. Like,
Oh,
this is my face.
wow.
This is, I mean, I have like a little patch right here, but that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I can't complain.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that. I mean, it's just to see you bare with no eczema is just, or just a little patch. I mean, just coming
Yeah.
from where you were in the beginning is just amazing. And thank you so much for saying that you never had regular bowel movements.
Mhm.
Now, what people need to understand is this is your exit. This is how the toxins come out. Is one of your exits. Okay, you have your stool, you have your urine, you have your skin, and you have your breath. So some things you talked about is, okay, I wanted you to meditate, I wanted you to breathe, I wanted you to walk, I wanted you to relax your system, because when you breathe, you're actually exhaling toxins. I also wanted you to do things like dry brushing, and I know you couldn't do
Mhm.
that on the spots you had eczema, but that's also to help the toxins release through your skin. I wanted you to sweat, right?
Yeah.
IR sauna, sweating, that's also really important. And then those bowel movements, for a lot of you guys who have eczema, you're constipated. And this was my problem too. And so you're just holding on to these toxins, you're holding on to all that garbage, and the garbage is circulating around,
Yeah.
around and around, around. And if it has nowhere else to go, it's going to try to go out your skin. So when you guys look at your skin and you see the eczema, you're looking at the garbage trying to come out of your skin. And so
Mhm.
Yahira, I mean, you're 90% clean. Like I would say like 80 to 90%, your garbage
Yeah.
can has been dumped out. We have a little bit more to go.
Mhm.
And I think it'll be exactly a year and you will be
Yeah.
completely done, is my hope, is crossing fingers, is
Mine too.
yeah, is you'll be like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
Yeah.
And that's my goal. My goal is for you and all of my patients to reach where I'm at, and I'm at zeros, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And if I ever have symptoms, I know that I've either done something, like something like I maybe either drank alcohol, or I went to a party and I ate way too much of stuff I wasn't supposed to eat, and I just kind of need to reset my system.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where all of you guys should be. And I call that clean body. That is a totally clean body. And everything is just going like this. toxins going out, and everything's circulating really well. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I think it's amazing. And I want to open it up for any questions anybody has for you, because I know someone right here says crying, because I know we both know what it's like, right?
Yeah.
And imagine yourself like 11 months ago, 10 to 11, I think that's 10 months ago now, 10, 11 months ago. Like imagine like if you were to hear someone like yourself to saying the things you're saying. I think it's so amazing, so inspirational. Thank you for coming on here and sharing your story. It's not easy. And I remember you told me like, you know, Dr. Fong, it used to be hard for me to talk about my eczema. But I'm so grateful to you. And I think everyone here is grateful to you for sharing your story. So I'd love to open it up to any questions. If anyone wants to ask either myself or Yahira any questions, and then I will go through some of the questions that you guys asked on my story. And I'll go ahead and do that too. And Yahira, you can either stay for that or not stay. And if you want to stay, you can also comment and your own personal kind of experience with those questions as well too. But if anyone has any questions, you guys can bring that up. If I don't see any questions now, I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these questions. So someone asked, if a baby has eczema, will they have it for life? And as you can see, my answer to that question is absolutely not. But you have to start cleaning up the body, the little body. Now, how does that happen? Mom probably had toxins. Okay, that's probably how it happened. Mom had toxins. Those toxins transfer through the placenta into the baby, and it also transfers through the breast milk into the baby, and that's how baby's born with eczema. You know, mine was likely the mercury that my mom had in her amalgams that transferred onto me, and so many environmental toxins that we don't even realize we're being exposed to, Yahira, right? You had to clean up a lot of your exposures. Yeah. What are some of the exposures you had to clean up?
I feel like I had everything. I know now we're working on mercury and lead to see if I have that. But for me, I don't even remember what it was exactly, because for me, I had eczema when I was 5. So we were trying to figure out if it was, I think you said asbestos, probably in the house when I was growing up.
And then you also had to clean up things like plastic and all of that through the whole process, like just like going through all your environmental stuff and just cleaning everything up, right?
And I also had the mercury fillings as a kid. So
yep. And someone's asking how to continue to do IR sauna sweating if the itch is intolerable. So Yahira, how about sweating for you? Was it difficult for you, and how did you kind of push past that?
In the beginning, when my skin was really bad and the flare-ups were raw and cracked, I wasn't doing a lot of sweating, and I wasn't doing the brushing just because, like you said, it was intolerable. Like Dr. Fong was like, let's not do it until your skin heals. So I would wait until it calms down a little bit, and then once you're able to let it heal up a little bit or dry up, then you would try to sweat or try to do whatever you can. And even then, like at a moderate, you know, don't go full force into it, just little by little and whatever you can tolerate. And then if you're itchy, kind of just like pat it dry or try to take a shower right away.
Yeah. And it's true. I really didn't tell Yahira to do a lot of sweating until now, actually. Now is really when we're starting to do more sweating, because in the beginning, it was just too painful. Like sweating. And I remember like, no, I don't want to sweat. I don't even want to get in the shower because it hurts so much, you know? So now that she's kind of closer to the finish line, we're doing a lot more sweating, because that's not going to elicit as much eczema now, because your bowels are going really well and all the exits are kind of working the way that we need them to. Yeah, very good question. I missed a bunch of those questions that came up. If you guys want to ask those questions again. Someone asked if I only treat eczema. No, I don't only treat eczema. I had eczema and I had IBS and I had headaches and migraines. So a lot of people who have those things gravitate towards me because I talk about it a lot. But we treat all types of chronic disease. All types of chronic disease actually are because that funnel is so full. So, you know, we kind of take the same approach, but it's different for whatever disease you're experiencing. What about sensitivity to supplements, and how do you test the emotional side? Really good question. I do something called emotional release therapy, and that's kind of based on something called emotion code, which is muscle testing your subconscious, and EMDR, which is a trauma therapy. And I kind of put those two things together, and we can actually identify in your subconscious, what is the trauma that's kind of hidden underneath. And sometimes that goes all the way back to childhood. And we need to uncover that. Okay. What about sensitivity to supplements? If you're sensitive to supplements, it typically means your funnel is super full. If you're someone who takes something and then you get a reaction, it's probably because your system is actually getting some of the nutrients it needs to start detoxing, and then you start detoxing. So Yahira was saying in the beginning, she was having lots of like kind of, we call them healing crises, where you're healing, and because toxins are kind of flowing out of your system, your eczema may get a little bit worse before it gets better. And so unfortunately, that's sometimes what it feels like in the beginning. Okay. Someone's asking, what has been the most rewarding part of this process for you?
That's actually my sister. The most rewarding part is looking at my pictures and seeing, I'm trying not to cry, seeing where I was and where I'm at now. And I learned a lot about my body through this journey and through the treatment, which is something that I wasn't in tune with my body. So now, kind of like what you said, now I'm able to kind of, if I'm having a flare up, I'm like, okay, it's because I ate this. I wasn't supposed to eat it, but I ate it. I haven't been working out. I haven't been walking. I haven't been meditating. So this is what's going on. So the most rewarding part is now I'm able to tell what's going on with my body. And now I feel like this isn't going to be a forever anymore. And before, I never felt like it was going to be just Yahira. I always felt like this is eczema and I'm just Yahira. I'm in the background. Now I feel like, okay, I actually have a chance in life, and like I'm getting back into school. I just started school. I'm able to work. I'm sleeping. So I feel 1,000 times better. Like just the entire treatment, the entire protocol, the journey, everything has been worth it. Like, there's no words for me like to describe how I feel about it.
Making me get all teary-eyed too. Thank you for sharing that. I love how you said it's been such an educational journey for you, and that's what I've tried to develop in my program, because what I felt was, even when I was outside of med school, like, before med school, it was like, I didn't understand my body, right? So I didn't get it. I was like just so angry at the eczema. I was angry at my body. I was angry at like, why is my body failing me? And even if I'm trying to eat healthy and I'm trying to exercise, why is my body still failing me? I don't understand. And without the education, I would still be very angry, and I would probably still have lots and lots of eczema. Yeah. So then I ended up having to go to med school because I couldn't find a doctor like me. I couldn't find a doctor like me who, first of all, had overcome eczema, and then had the education. And at that time, I just didn't even know where to look. And back then there wasn't as much there wasn't Instagram. Yeah. So now I got that education. It cost me a couple $100,000s and years of my life. But I have that education, and now like I've healed myself. I know how to keep myself healthy. I know how to, like if I get sick, I know exactly what to do. If I get the cold, I know if I get COVID, I know what to do, and that's my goal is, so I have a program now called the Clean Body Program, which is 4 months long. And that's what we started with, Yahira, is a 4-month program. And then at 4 months, you actually were like improved. But we said, you know what? I want to get you to the finish line, Yahira. Let's keep going. Let's keep going until you're done. And I even estimated, like, I think it may be, up to a year. Are you okay with this? And you said yes. And now here we are at a year, and we're almost at that finish line. But so what I've tried to create in this program is education. And I want you to get educated in terms of what, understand what is wrong with you. How did this happen, so that you never get into this place again? So first of all, you fix it, and then you never get here again. Okay.
Yeah, that's one thing that I want to say. I don't want to interrupt you, but one thing that I appreciate about Dr. Fong is that she always said, look, I don't want you to need me for the rest of your life. I'm not trying to have you visit me every time you have a flare up. I don't want you to be like, I need to give you supplements every time something's wrong. No, I want to get you to the finish line. And then from there on, you just maintain your body, and you know how to take care of your body, and that's it. You don't need me anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to work myself out of the job because
Yep.
I don't want you to need me, right? I
Yeah.
want you to live your life and I want you to accomplish all the things you want to accomplish. And in my program, it's not just about healing the eczema. Like the eczema is just the one thing that's holding you back. But then after
Mhm.
that, helping you to accomplish the things you want to accomplish in your life. And then seeing you go off and do things is like the most amazing thing. Contributing to the world is what I want for everybody. And so and at that point, I'm your doctor forever. You can reach out to me, but my hope is that's only once or twice a year. That we're checking in, we're making sure I'm helping you do your. So it's also about cleaning for the rest of your life. So twice a year or once to twice a year, I suggest you do a flush or a cleanse with me once a year. And the cleanse is really kind of based on what you need. And I build that for you once or twice a year. So Yahaira, I think 2022, you're just going to be hopefully only seeing me twice that year. And you're going to be doing 2 cleanses with me. And we're just going to keep you healthy.
Yep.
And that's what you'll do for the rest of your life is really the hope. And my hope is like, I don't take supplements because I hate taking supplements. I hate swallowing pills. And so I always tell my patients when we first start, yes, you're going to be taking a lot of supplements, but that's
Yeah.
because you have so much dysfunction that we need to help you. We need to give you, it's like you're literally fallen down and we need to pick you up with supplements. And then hopefully we take those things out and you're left with a healthy body that just does everything it needs to do. So even now, I think you're taking way less supplements than you
Oh
were
yeah.
before. So it's like slowly we've weaned it down and you've gotten better and better and better. And that's why we don't need to give you as many supplements. So yeah. Someone's asking if I'm currently accepting new patients. I am. So we have 3 programs. We have an educational only program, a coaching program, and a medical program. I'm only seeing patients within California in terms of my medical program, just so you guys know. So if you're outside of California, you can do the coaching or the Clean Body Education program. And those are all on my website at cleanbody.health. It's also on my bio. Okay. Thoughts on Lyme? Someone's asking. Lyme disease. So for me, Lyme disease is your funnel is so full, your immune system is so unhealthy that you can't overcome this. And so I always, if I'm going to work with anyone with Lyme, I'm actually detoxing them. That's one of the, and honestly, guys, for every chronic disease, I'm detoxing you. That's really what I found is it is the toxins that are causing most of the issues in our world, most of the chronic disease, and the fact that your doctor is not addressing that at all, like period. Not even mentioning it, no education on it. And so the education needs to be there. And that's how I treat almost every chronic disease. Now, with that being said, everybody has different toxins. Everybody has different genetics. So like what I did with Yahaira will not be the same as what I do with any other patient, right? It's very unique to you. But if you do one of my educational programs like the Clean Body program or the coaching program, there is a very set way that you can start to clean up if you're not having medical care with me, which is we need to create a foundation, which is good diet, good regimens, clean. We talked about dry brushing, etc. And then the next part is cleaning up your gut, then cleaning up your kidneys, then your liver and your gallbladder, and then cleaning that up over and over and over again. So essentially what Yahaira and I have been doing, we actually started with the gut, and then we moved on to the liver, gallbladder, and we're just been cleaning that up for this whole year. We've basically been just cleaning it up over and over again in different ways, right? We clean it up and then we shift and we clean up more things. And now we're trying to see if there's any heavy metals, as you said, and we need to use a chelator for that, which is something that will pull the heavy metals out of the system. And I did not think you were healthy enough before to do that because you would have way too many symptoms. But now I feel you're healthy enough that we could do that. We could pull out those toxins. And I think your kidneys and your liver and your gallbladder and your gut will be able to excrete those. So we're ready for that. And I hope that's the last thing that gets you to the finish line. Okay. Great. So people are asking about parasites and eczema. Absolutely, 100%. Parasites are a big thing I find. This was not something that Yahaira actually dealt with, which is good. It was one thing we could check off the list. But parasites are big. This is something you can get from sushi, from eating raw fish, and just kind of in general, people can have parasites. And absolutely, I find it a lot. People are asking, can food sensitivities be resolved or non-existent if gut is healed? This is a big yes. So for me, I had food sensitivities. When I had really bad eczema, I couldn't eat a lot of things. And now I can eat those things, but I know my threshold. And I know if I can eat like about this much, then I'll be okay. If I go overboard, then I may actually start to fill my funnel again. And even Yahira, you've noticed like maybe some foods, have you noticed that some foods don't bother you as much as they did before?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Someone is asking, is there a strong link with eczema and diarrhea? And that's an absolutely, because that diarrhea indicates that your gut is unhealthy, that exit's not working well, and therefore those toxins are going to go out your skin. Another person's asking about blastocystis hominis. This is a parasite. And yes, I have found this in people with eczema. Someone's on Dupixent right now. Actually, I would love to hear your thoughts on Dupixent. Can you tell us a little about Dupixent and your journey with Dupixent?
So I was actually on Dupixent for 3 years. When I got on Dupixent, I was at my lowest. After the first dose is 2 injections. So after that, I want to say like within 2 weeks, my skin started to clear up. I got to like 70% where my skin was clear. I was doing better. Thankfully, I didn't have any side effects. The only side effect that I had was that I gained a lot of weight, probably like 30 pounds. That's how much I gained. I've lost weight with Dr. Fong in the program. So I gained like 30 pounds. I was losing my hair. And randomly, I would get like sharp pain in my eye. I felt like somebody was poking me with a needle. But besides that, I didn't get any side effects. And then towards the middle of being on Dupixent, I started to get facial flare-ups and neck flare-ups. And I guess it's something that's common with Dupixent. I'm seeing it in like the eczema community where a lot of people that are on Dupixent are saying, hey, have you guys experienced this? It's really common. And I guess it's I don't know if it's correct. I don't want to give like false information, but they're saying it's some type of new form of eczema with Dupixent that you're getting facial flares, neck flares, because that's what I was dealing with towards the middle of being on Dupixent. And then towards the end, it just wasn't working for me anymore. I was getting worse. I was flaring. If you guys do see the documentary, in the beginning, I was still on Dupixent, and you can see I was flaring. I wasn't getting any better. But for me personally, it worked. It got me to a point where I was able to mentally and emotionally take a break and a breather. And I feel like sometimes it's okay to do that. You know, we want to heal naturally, and I completely get it. Just because we've done the Western conventional medicine, it hasn't worked for us. We kind of don't trust them anymore. They told us steroids won't hurt us, and then here we are going through topical steroid withdrawal. So when I got on Dupixent, I was a little apprehensive, but it worked for me. It got me to a point where I was able to look for other options. I found Dr. Fong, and then I wanted to get off Dupixent. That was my goal, and ultimately that's what happened. So I would recommend it if it's an option and you're at a point where you feel like I need a little bit of help until I can get help like with Dr. Fong, then I would do it.
Yeah. I think it's for emergencies like that, where it's like, I mean, you are at your wit's end. You really just can't take it anymore. And know that we can take you off of it. So if you kind of need it for now to just take things down a notch, we can get you off of it. And this is what I have seen with like almost everyone who's been on Dupixent. It works and then it stops working. And I think some people say 6 months, some people say 9 months, 12 months. But it's because that root cause is not fixed. Those toxins are still trying to get out through your skin. So you need to clean up. Yeah. All right, great. Well, Yahira, do you have any ending kind of thoughts to close things out? I think that was a great way to end it too, is if you need it, you can do something like Dupixent, but you have to get down to the root. Like it's just necessary. And especially for those of you guys, a lot of people ask me questions about their kids. Your kids, it's so important you clean it up now. Like get to the root cause now. Don't wait till you're like my age, Yahira's age, when we basically found all this. We had to suffer for, 20, 30 years of our lives. Try to deal with it now. And yes, I do support children. Again, I can see people in my medical program in California. And you want the education and coaching worldwide, we do have a program there as well too. Someone saying we love you and are so proud. I am too. I'm so proud of you, and only you and I kind of know what that journey was, and I hope that in our documentary we can really show that to everybody here, and hopefully give everybody hope that you can get to the finish line. And although Yahira is not 100%, I would say she's 80 to 90% there. But I'm here to get you to 100% clear.
Definitely.
And that's where all of you guys on this call, everybody should be aspiring to that. And truly, if you just clean out, you will make it there. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Yahira. It's been so amazing. And for those of you guys, I know a lot of people are asking, do I do consultations? Is my practice open? I am taking a small amount of patients. Right now, you can go to cleanbody.health. The link is also in my website. I would say start by taking the assessment, see how dirty your funnel is. And then from there, you can see the different programs. And if you're wanting to join the medical program, there is a discovery consult that you can do with me. If you want to join the other programs, you can just go ahead and sign up right off the bat, and then I'll see you there. If you want to learn more education before you get started, my masterclass is great. And you can also see the masterclass and the sign up link on my website as well too. Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for spending your Saturday. Yahira, thank you so much for sharing your journey. It's been amazing. You are so inspiring, and I can't wait to see you at the finish line.
Me too.
All right. Bye.